Hello and welcome back to another video. This time maybe something we do more of in the future, but I really wanted to check out a topic that a lot of people have been asking me about, or we've been talking about in the past few months on various places, including my own Discord server, and that's the usability and the friendliness to a new player experience. So a lot of people have also covered this in small detail, but really what I wanted to do is just do a bit of a social experiment. So we can't do this on Meoni because obviously, you know, everybody knows Meoni, and the other characters as well have a good chance of being recognized. So we're going to create a new character, but we're not going to do it on my own home server. We're going to choose somewhere completely different. Now, I think that we should probably create a character over on another data center, and we should see the difference between EU and America. Now, I'll explain why we'll do that as well. Mostly because I want to interact with a member of the community, your first player interaction with another player, as well as judge how, well, sort of like the ease of use of a new player might be, with certain stipulations. So we're going to go to Light Data Center for the European test, and I think we should create a character probably on... Ooh, let's think here. I can't remember all of the servers either. We actually have one apparently on Zodiac, who'd have thought. Let's try creating one on... Let's make one on Phoenix. Okay. So we're on Light Data Center, and this is Phoenix. We're going to create a new character. Let's just randomize a lot of this stuff. And really what I wanted to look at in this video is just the idea that perhaps you're a new player and you're completely new to the game. You have no idea what's going on. And as a result of that, you want help from another person to guide you through the game and how that player experience really works. Because obviously it might have changed since when I was younger, when I first started playing the game. Let's not go for that. Let's go for a female aura, actually. Okay, because that's something I don't usually go for. And we'll just we'll go for Zayla, obviously, because they're more intimidating. And we'll make a really short Zayla because I like my short Zaylas. And what slider is this? Oh, this is the bus slider. Of course it is. Well, we're going to use our assets that we have available to us. As for skin color, I do like dark Zayla. I really do. I love the darker skins, skin colors and skin tones. So we're going to go for that very dark, sort of mysterious. I do love it, especially with the horns as well. I think it suits a lot better. We'll go for a tail shape. Nice. Should we go for a thick tail? I think we're going for a thick tail, boys. There we go. And we'll get a nice long thick tail. Well, that's probably a bit too long. That looks kind of like a dinosaur tail, but we'll go with it regardless. For a hairstyle then, we want something that says noob. But not too newbie. What's this? Why do we have extra horns? I've not even seen any of these facial customization options because I don't play Aura. They get little horn ones? Oh, that's so cool. That must be a race-specific one, then. You see, if I spent more time outside of playing Makote, I would know about this, but... yeah, Makote for life. You know what I mean? That looks kind of cool. It's very tempting to go down to a long hairstyle, but for this, I think we need to be a little bit more... No, actually. What should we go with? I like long hair, personally. Just pick something. Let's go... no, that's my other character's hair. What about that? No, it looks trash. I don't like that. Some bun, maybe? Oh, we could go with Sice's hair. Maybe that one. Yeah. Spiky hair? Nah, we need something... I don't know. Not dreads. We'll not go with dreads. Let's go with something like that, maybe. Oh, it's twin-tailed. I don't like twin-tail. Let's go with that. Nice, long, sort of fluffed out hair, which means that we have to find a different chest piece than this. No, we'll go with that. And then for a hair color, We'll have, should we not have highlights? That would be probably a cool idea. I kind of like the idea of having the white hair and the sort of albino look to that. I love that look. But at the same time, I kind of want that almost purple hair. We find it. Is that the darkest shade? Let's see what that looks like in other environments. Okay, I don't like it now. Maybe I do like it. I mean, it'll do. Oh, no, I don't like the hair type. Ah, I'm fussy. What about the straight hair? The straight hair works. Okay, I like the front cut. The hair color itself, though, I mean... And a darker purple. Yeah, we're going to go with that, actually. Let's not mess around too much. Face options. Well, it has to be that one, doesn't it? It just has to be that one. And then for a jaw type, we're going to go for not too gaunt. Nice number 2 is in the middle, I think. Eye shapes, we'll go for a downward sort of, I'm going to eat you sort of look. I always go for large pupils, but maybe we should go for small ones on the iris there. And we'll make those, what color should we make them? We could make her white-eyed, black-eyed. Oh, it's the limbal ring that's actually causing half of those problems, isn't it? So if we go something like a purple main part of the eye, and then we could keep the limbal rings, actually, and make those, well, black, I think. That looks a bit weird, actually. Should we get rid of those? Let's get rid of those. There we go. Actually, I don't know if I like that now. Ah, this is so awkward. Oh, that's quite cute. I quite like that. And then as an actual eye color, we could go for something that suits it. Even black eyes. Let's go for black eyes. Quite like that, actually. Eyebrows. Go for the angry number 3. Nice button nose. That one. What type of mouth do we want? That looks like a fish. Should we go for fish mouth? No, let's not go for fish mouth. Let's go for this one or something. We'll change the lip color to be like non. There we go. That already looks amazing. I quite like that character. Do we need all of these extra bits? Oh yeah, we could get the little rings on that bit, couldn't we? Oh, you need the eyeshadow. You definitely need the eyeshadow. Not sure about the middle bit. Kind of adds a little bit more of a spikiness to her. I quite like having all of these scales, actually. Oh yeah, because we could add face paint as well, couldn't we, to make her look a little bit moodier. We could go for something like that and then make the face paint color really dark. To add a bit more shadow here. In theory, that should look good in the sun. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Bit of light there. Different environment would be helpful. Oh, I like that. I quite like that. Okay, we'll go with that. And as a voice, you won't be able to hear it because I've turned the sounds down. We'll go for voice number 7. Why not? Yeah. Strong, independent, gonna rip your soul out. Okay, so this is our character. Let's just save this and call it random template lol. Why not? And this is the start of our experiment. So we'll have that one, and let's go for Memphina the Lover. Let's do that. Now, this is important. So your new player experience, where you start, might differ depending on the help you get from other people and your experience. Now, in general, the experience is going to be the same, right? You start the game, teaches you how to use the keybinds, and then you go and have to start the MSQ. But really, it would be nice to maybe start the game as a conjurer, for example. You know, a nice support healer, someone who can actually help other people. That's always valuable to other players as well. And we're also going to, let's start in Gridania. And we're gonna just literally create a character. It's tried to default to Zodiac there. Lich is locked, so that's obviously the highest pop one. We did say we wanted to make this on Phoenix, so let's try it. And we'll call this, think of a really, we don't have to think of a name, we can use this. So the in-game lore randomly translated names, it's come up with Ijai Ugund, no, don't like that. Togene Ura, Dorgoat, no. Samga, Doyi. No, this has to be like a common name like Fred. Samga. I mean, half of these I can't pronounce. That's my own problem. Doyi. Why does it keep going to Doyi? Turakina Irik Suft Jean. Why don't we just call ourselves Hope? Potato. Yes, Hope Potato. Hope Potato. Yes, this is her ladyship. Lady Hope Potato. Yes, we would love to begin a game. So this is the new player experience that we're trying to replicate here. Obviously, I'm not a new player, but I want to show what the new player experience is like for a lot of people who just simply don't create alts or don't remember. So things have changed a little bit since back in the day when I created my first character. And let's skip these cutscenes. We've seen this all before. Yes, hear, feel, whatever the other word is. Think, but obviously it's something else in my uncensored videos. So here we go. Right, we're not going to touch anything. We're going to read what's on screen. Welcome to Gridania, a vibrant forest nation cradled in the bosom of nature. At this point, we can't move around at all. And the only thing we can do is click forward and rotate around a character. So already, if let's do this from a perspective of somebody who reads things on screen, okay? So they're welcoming us to this particular town. They're telling us that we are in a forest, and yeah, cradled within a forest, and you see an exit that way, maybe, and then some building up here, and the huge inclination is, let's go and explore the building. So we click next. It says, please select the control scheme you wish to use. So right off the bat, they're asking us if we're using a gamepad or a mouse and keyboard. This is something that every MMO usually does, and FF is no different. So, you know, obviously you choose mouse and keyboard unless you're on a PlayStation and you choose that one. And then it gives you this, basically, basic controls. It says, follow the instructions to move your character and adjust the position of the camera. So it shows you here how we can hold left to turn around. We can turn our character with right. However, that doesn't work because we're on this. When you are ready to proceed, speak to Bertinant, who's this fella here. So we have this pop-up, which is the play guide. If you actually press yes on this, it opens a browser with a help guide. So already we're being pushed to have this button here to take us outside of the game for help. Now, that's not to say there isn't in-game help, but a lot of people will see this and go, oh, do I really have to? You know, I would personally be saying no to this, but if I was a new player, I might click on this and then I'd be tabbed out of the game. So necessarily, I don't think this, I mean, I like the idea of this, but to have the button maybe is a bit too much. Maybe this needs to be integrated into this so we have the option much clearer that this is for further information rather than actually how to play the game. You know, it is what it is. So we're going to say no for this. So here we go. And now we'll realize, oh, look, we can control our character to some degree. There we go. And we've got W, S, A, and D. And we've got, keyboard turning. Lovely. And then we've got R, the scroll wheel scrolling in. We have R, which shows us auto running there. Oh, actually, what it's showing us here is that middle click moves forward, and so does the button R by default. Interesting. And if you hold down left and right, you move forward as well. You've got spacebar for jump. So already we have the idea of how to move. And by this point, we've moved a bit further away from Bertinant. You know, you might be in the same position or whatever. But a lot of people will go, all right, I've done that. And they'll close that. And then they'll see this annoying green thing and they'll click this. And then it'll tell us all about the non-player characters, right? The NPCs initiating quests, offering quests can be recognized by the exclamation marks above their heads. Right-click the mark to bring up the quest window. We also have a toggle here to disable all active help windows. Now, it would be helpful. It also says here, help settings can be adjusted in character configuration. So we know that if we accidentally click this, right, then we go, oh no, I needed those help windows. We can press escape, like it said, and oh look, character configuration. And then we're like, how do we turn on those help menus? So we're scrolling down a bit. What's down here? You see this? This is the bit maybe where it might be a little bit confusing, because perhaps I should have read the rest of that box, right? Is it in the UI settings? I think it might be, right? So we've got help section here, and we've got display active help windows, right? But to find all of this stuff and navigate it isn't necessarily going to be straightforward. And at that point, they'll probably be asking somebody, but they'll realize, hello, is anyone there? You know, they don't realize that this is an instanced area at the start. So these are the things that I'm saying probably need to be tightened up from a new player perspective. If you just put this in the hands of my mother, for example, and told her to play, she would probably do exactly what I've just demonstrated there. Now, obviously, it's going to vary from player to player, and not everybody is new to MMOs in general. Some of them have played other MMOs and they're going to fit in much better. But for people who come from shooting games, for example, or something, they're not going to know how to do that. So let's proceed then that we've got past that point and we figured it out on our own, or we didn't do that at all. So we'd be talking to Bertinent. It told us to do that. We've got this accepting quests menu pop up. Once you've initiated a quest, a prompt will appear detailing the objectives and rewards. Click on the accept button in the lower left to add the quest to your list of current duties. Right, so we close that, and we've got this over here that says, to be recognized as an adventurer in the city-state of Gridania, you must first register yourself with the Adventurers Guild. And you'll see it says, oh, we're getting experience. If we highlight over that, we get 50 of that and 103 gil. It's impossible, as far as I know, so it's bringing up the help menu again, it's impossible to continue without actually talking to Bertinent. It says, didn't you hear me? Come here and I shall guide you. And your character automatically walks backwards there. And then it brings up the basic controls thing again. If we try to run away, maybe Bertinent is just not our cup of tea, he tries to do the same thing. So it doesn't matter where you go. You'll also know that in this particular instance situation, there's no dotted line there, so there isn't technically another zone. This is like its own separate instance, which is very interesting to think about as well, like a separate map. So we have to talk to Bertinent, and we have to accept his quest. Then we get introduced to a cutscene, where basically we have, oh, another green adventurer, I presume, and then you'll realize, oh, look, nothing's happening. I guess I click the mouse because there's a speech icon. I thought as much. We cannot allow strangers to wander Gridania unchecked and untested. All right, and then we've got a pan. It's showing us a building in the distance, and it says, before you rush off and begin pestering every second citizen for work, I suggest you make yourself known as the Carline Canopy. That's the headquarters of the local Adventurers Guild, in case you were wondering. So, he says, the Carline Canopy is the building you see behind me. Speak to Mother Meon within, and she'll take you in hand. Simple, to the point. Quest accepted. You have begun a quest, it says. Use the duty list to help you complete your task. So what's the duty list? Oh, now we have this up here telling us that the duty list is the thing on the right side. There's actually a second option here, and it also shows clicking on the title will open the quest in your journal. Another highlighted word saying basically that that's a thing, a part of the menu, allowing you to review objectives and rewards. So we're going to close that, and we're going to go, all right, let's click on this then. And it will show us that Woodwhaler Bertinent suggests that you speak with Carline Canopy proprietress Mother Meon before you begin exploring. There's even a map button, and then you're like, oh my goodness, there's a map. And then at this point, you'd be like, oh look, there's a little thing, I can make it bigger. Right, that's the first thing you'd see. Like, can I move this? Oh look, it turns into a hand. So it is quite intuitive. This is something that you would understand, I guess, if you are familiar with MMOs. If not, it might still be on your screen like this, which is obviously really suboptimal, but at least you can see where you're going. But all of this extra text and stuff, it's kind of annoying. You'd see the buttons, but you wouldn't necessarily press them. My mother, for example, she'd be like, bloody hell, could they make it any smaller? I can imagine her saying that right now. So, also, you know, she wouldn't necessarily click the X either. She'd be like, how do I get out of this? Oh, how do I come out of this? And she'd probably press escape, actually, and then realize that the map goes off. Then she'd freak out about coming to Gridania. She'd click that and then not realize it brought up the map again. So maybe, I don't know. It is intuitive, but it's going to be based on perspectives, isn't it? So we can walk up here. We've got another NPC here, Honoraint. So she'd probably try to talk to that person as well, or the individual who's playing. Give a man a bloody fright sneaking up on me like that. Newly come to Gridania, are ye? Then I suggest you continue on your merry way to the Carling Canopy just behind me. So everyone is going to point towards the Carling Canopy, right? That's their objective, this building. But let's say we were completely potato and we walked up here. So there's Capucine. Oh, what is that I skipped? I don't believe I've seen your face before. New to Gridania, I take it. Then you're required to register at the Carling Canopy. Don't let me catch you strolling about until you've done so. But if we walk past... Halt! Unregistered outsiders are not permitted beyond this point. If you wish to remain in our city, you must obey our rules and proceed to the Carling Canopy at once. I've never seen that dialogue in my entire life. But that's what happens if you disobey that, and presumably you'd have a dialogue box if you tried to run away as well. So here we are. This is the Carling Canopy. You'll see a character and go... The wood it's watching, you know. That's a bit weird if you think about it. We go in here and we're like, oh, this particular NPC has a quest objective above a head or something. And then you come a little bit past this table and it tells you about how to hand in your quest. So realistically, it isn't necessarily a bad player experience. I think there are a few bits and pieces perhaps that aren't that straightforward, especially the idea that the first thing you really see as a help menu is, hey, click this and it opens a browser. Most people will be put off by that and go, oh, why do I need a browser just to learn how to play the game? I know I would. If I played a new MMO tomorrow and it told me that I had to open a browser to learn the basics of a game, I'd be put off immediately. But it is what it is and people will have different opinions, right? So we've got this storyline here. Basically, we're going to skip this cutscene. Not that the new player would necessarily do that. You would learn about things. Then you can't physically move until you press complete. That gives you some experience, tells you the quest complete. And it says, this concludes the introductory game tutorial. You've taken your first step as an adventurer in the city of Gridania. Listen well to the wisdom of Mother Meoni, then go forth and discover the incredible adventures that await you. So you see, look, we've got a little increase to this bar. We've got main scenario quests as a tip here, telling us that these are a thing. This icon represents that. And also that we have plus quests as well. Quests using this icon indicate a task or series of tasks that are tied to new duties or features you've yet to unlock. So that shows you their importance. Not that there is any around here at the moment. Or at least, I don't think there is right now until we accept this quest. So ultimately, it's trying to tell us to pick up that quest, but that's not to say that we have to do that necessarily. We can just walk off and go up here, right? Is Capucine going to moan? Yep. So technically, we're still unregistered. That wasn't explained fully to us. It just sort of pointed us to the idea that we had to continue talking to Mother Meoni, but it's still pushing us that direction, even if we try to revolt against it. So basically, we get this first introduction to the storyline. We're not going to watch through that. It's going to take too much time, obviously. And it's fairly straightforward. And then it tells us about the main menu, how these buttons, as you can see here, actually open up duties, characters, and stuff like that. At this point, though, you perhaps would have your first ever... Can we not have all this? Thanks. First ever interaction with a player. Oh my goodness, look. There are other people here. And how do I know they are people? because they have a sprout next to them like I do. I think. Is this another player? And then you move and you check this person out. Morgant Mumsrich. But then you see a guy at a desk there with the RP tag. Is that role play, you ask yourself? See these people sitting down. If it was me personally though, I might expect those to be NPCs, so I'd probably try and like right click on them. And I wouldn't know what they were until I'd realized they were players. But yeah, this is the first experience then. So we've got a quest and it says close to home, attune yourself to the Aetheryte found inside the city. So I don't know how to send a tell. I just see the say button down here. So what I'm going to do is go, hi, I'm new to the game. Can someone tell me what an, how do you spell it? Aetheryte is and how I attune to it as this quest says. Thank you. There we go. So let's see if anybody reads that and actually replies. So is this person here? I mean, technically we could click on these things and it would show us the location, right? But we're going to go with the idea that we've forgotten how to open the map. So we've put this in chat. We're not getting any replies. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Papa Fash, the giant blue crystal, go up and right click on it if on PC. Outside up the hill. Awesome. Ah, thank you very much. Smiley face. And we're going to pretend that we're trying to figure things out. There we go. That was actually really nice. Very helpful. We gave them time to respond. Giant blue crystal, go up and right click it if on PC. That's actually really good information. And the other person with a happy face outside of a... Oh, it's the same person, isn't it? Papa Fash. Sorry, my eyes are a bit bad. We go, oh, wow, giant blue crystal. Right click it if on PC, right? So we're going to right click it. And there we go. Attuning. So there we go. Instantly, without the need of any other chat function or sending tells, that person helped us learn how to use an Aetheryte, or at least attune it for this quest, which I think is really, and I think that gives you a good demonstration on the friendliness of the community. People didn't scoff at the fact I was a new player. There were players in low level areas available to ask, and we didn't need the use of /tell. Obviously, your mileage is going to vary. Some people might have different things, but there's bound to be somebody who helps, right? And that teaches you about how Aetherytes work, the lore behind them, and all the rest of it. So we're going to skip that cutscene. So we learn how that works, right? It says, you attune with the Aetheryte, you are now able to use the return spell. So then it teaches us about the return spell, which we can find under this button, which is actually called travel, apparently. And we've got return here. Okay, so let's press this. So what does this do? Oh, right, it takes us back to a home point. It does not require any MP. Okay, so now we've learned like a fast travel system. Okay, teleport into this this Viera here that looks pretty cool. But we know how to use this Aetheryte. So at this point, I'd probably be clicking on things. And it said something about home point. So we could set home point, and it's already set. You see, look. So we will, if we die or whatever, we'll return here. That's what it explained in the chat. You'll also see that on the side here, we have this one faded now with a tick mark. So now we know that we need to visit the Conjurer's Guild. Okay, Conjurer's Guild. Okay, how do I get to the Conjurer's Guild? And at this point, we could play two ways. We could use the Sage chat. You see, here's the problem. Now we have somebody visiting from Twintania, which is clearly a bot, which is actually trying to sell Gil. So this is going to be the issue, isn't it? They see this. Let's do it. Let's ask in Say Chat. Can anyone Help me, I'm new. How do I get to the Conjurer's Guild? Thanks. So we're gonna put that in say, because that's all we know how to use at the minute. We know that these are other players. Maybe somebody will help us out. Give it a few seconds, you never know. Give it a few seconds. Will people actually see my message in amongst the gold selling spam? Will they help? I know that some of these people might be AFK. Here we go. And we see Ella Chi. Oh, here we go. Yo, press M and go to Old Gridania. Press M? Oh, right. So we've got Old Gridania here. Okay, so now we've rediscovered how the map works, thanks to that person with this small-ass map. But we can see where we are next to this big blue crystal, and it looks like it's this direction. You will see Conju Guild on the map. Oh, right. So he's telling us to click on that. You will see Conju Guild on the map. Okay. Oh, and then you realize you can move it, and then there's the Conjurer Guild. Now, that's probably... I don't know, is that much of a stretch? I can't really tell if my mother or someone else would know how to move the map like that. She would probably be asking more questions, but we're going to respond to this guy and say, thank you very much. When you see blue crystals on the map, always active them. Then you can just teleport between. It's easier. When you see blue crystals on the map. All right, so he's saying if you see blue crystals. So we're going to, you know, obviously he means the mini aetherites, right? But we've not seen one. Oh, we have seen one of those actually. But we might not have moved the map. Okay, so we're going to do what that guy says. We're next to the big aetherite and we can see which way we're going. Look, because we're keyboard turning and it's showing our field of view. And it's pointing this way because we didn't know how to move it that way. Right? But at the same time, you will notice that, oh, Old Gridania's lit up. Why is it lit up 3 times? Maybe what it should do is show you the shortest distance to that objective rather than just a map over, like map transition. But anyway, let's go with that as if we walked through this portal. That's the one we saw. So now we're here. We're in Old Gridania, right? So... the guy said it was in here, so I guess what we would do if we didn't know how to use the map properly is we would just walk around. He did say, though, if you see blue crystals to talk to them, well, what does he say? Use them? He said active them, so activate them, but, you know. So there's other players here, look, and we click on it. Oh, look, we learned that we can attune to them. It says you can teleport between them, which is faster. So now it says we now have access to the Ethernet. Quick travel throughout the city can be achieved by simply placing your hand on Ethernet shards. It teaches about the internet, the Ethernet, and shows you where we can teleport to. It's also meaning that that's the only other place we have attuned, right? So we'd need to find more. At this point, I'd probably be exploring myself, but let's go on the basis that we know how to use the map now. And that we're going towards this quest, even though, you know, it's not the fastest route. The fastest route would be to go through this gate here, but there we go. That's the only one we could see at the time. And we'll go down here. We're going to sprint anyway. I don't know if a new player would know how to sprint at this point, because we've not been introduced to these buttons and what they do, although I would have been naturally looking at them. My mother and other people probably might not, especially if they're new to games in general. So we'll know it's down here to where this quest icon is. You could talk to these NPCs as well. That'll teach you that this is the Conjurer's Guild. And there we go. Teaches you all about Conjury, because that's the class we started at. There we go. Then it taught us about those plus quests. Pardon me. and that they would unlock things. Are you ready to join? Yes, we are. We get some raisins as a reward. Lovely. Very well, I introduce you to the guildmaster, blah, blah, blah. And there we go. And then we get another little quest thingy. At this point, the plus icon should be fairly self-explanatory to follow. And, yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a bother. We get another cutscene. This introduces... Oh, we can't skip this one? I forgot that you couldn't skip the first one, so we'll just click through this really quickly then. But I think, honestly, as for like a test, I think that's past the majority of what I expected. And as much as I said, we might go on to see if there's a difference between EU and NA. I personally think in this video, we're going to get the same results, right? This is an EU server. We could try it, but really it's going to be coming down to who is in those places at the time. The advantage of an EU server during midday, it's only 3 p.m., right? Local time. So that's 4 p.m. for most of Europe and 3 p.m. for everyone else. So it's not like it's a busy time because people still have yet to come back from work. So that gives you a good indication that there were people doing things in different areas. Now, that won't be the same for every server, obviously. Obviously, there are a lot lower population places, but I think that's a good example. So I think that the game, whilst it does demonstrate a fair amount, there could be some tooltips to teach you how to use the map better, to maybe on-screen indications that if you hold this, you can actually drag it out. Just for the simple people, not simple people, but for the simple instructions to people who might be new to a game in general, right? They might be starting this because their son's playing it and they want to engage with them or something, or long distance, like I'm no good at games, but if it means I can communicate with my son or whatever, or my distant relative, or whatever situation we're in, then they're going to install it, press the play button, create a character, and then they're going to be going through this. They're not going to know how to send messages or, friend people at this point, right? That's not where we're at. What we're at is the user experience at the start to be as basic as possible and the most informative. So a little bit of extra help with the map, saying that you can drag and move, maybe a little tooltip that says you can drag the mouse around on the map whilst clicking, or on the controller or whatever you do, to actually move the map around. You can also click on the bottom right-hand corner to resize it to your desire, and also that you can move it around. That would be a really easy tooltip to put in, but I have a feeling that that's on their Lodestone page that you have to click on. So I'm slightly unimpressed at the fact that you still have to be directed to an external site to really understand the basics. It's cool that that's there, but that shouldn't be something that's pushed upon the character quite as much as a first-time experience, in my opinion. I'm very impressed with the player reactions, though. I'm not going to blur out anyone's name or anything. We're not naming and shaming, we're naming and gracing today. And all I have to say is thank you very kindly to Suyo Iliachi, sorry. And of course, we have ourselves Papa Fash. So in the course of like half an hour of playing the game for the first time, maybe up to an hour, we've met 3 people that have already helped us with everything that we have asked in Say Chat. That's really good. That's really good. And that's why this game, I think, has a much less toxic environment as a new player experience than other games I have played. If I was to directly compare this to World of Warcraft, if I had said this stuff, I might not have got the same reaction. But of course, it's going to be based on when you play, what server you're on, how high populated it is, and obviously the type of person that you meet up with. But I highly doubt that anyone is going to be going out of their way to say, oh, just uninstall noob and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like the sort of thing you'd expect from this game, and I don't think it's too unreasonable to say that either. I've never met somebody that goes out of their way to make the lives of a new player worse than it already is. They actually want to be helpful, or they ignore them. That's the other option. It's very rare that somebody wants to target someone, mostly because there's a strict policy there. And if they publicly said in Say, go and uninstall, I think the other players around them would probably lynch them, to be perfectly honest. Whereas in Warcraft, there's a little less of that, I think. But anyway, hopefully this served as a bit of an intro. I might run more tests like this if you're interested like me. I really wanted to talk about a new player experience and give you an idea of what it's like in comparison to other games, and give my 2 cents on it as to why I think that there's still room for improvement, as well as, you know, obviously good things in there as well that other games don't have. So anyway, if you want to see more of this series, then let me know, and I'll see you all next time.